Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey friends, join me for a moment and imagine, just imagine what it's like to be living the life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value for others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you, it's a very happy life. And so can Wade Wellborn, a man they call Dr. Music. He's my guest star for today, and he's here to share his unique journey to the inspired life he was meant to live. Hey, Wade, welcome to the Something Significant show.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. So just take a minute and tell our audience what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
So I love music. I've owned a record store for 25 years, and I am having as much fun running that now as I ever have. Really had a lot of fun lately working with my employees and training them and kind of helping them understand what we do and why we do it the way we do with things. But I've also recently taken over our old Fairhope Radio Shack, and I'm converting that into an audio store. So we're going to sell vintage audio gear. We're going to do repairs, and we also sell accessories and parts and batteries like the Radio Shack did. I build sonic suitcases, which are Bluetooth suitcases, boom boxes, basically. I build those, and in my spare time, I do some audio video installations. So
I also think you expanded your footprint to not only running a retail record store, which blew my mind when I was down there to see this thriving retail record store in 2022. But I understand you've also picked up a little DJing and run a radio show as well.
I do. I don't do as much DJing anymore, mainly because on the weekends I like to be home with my family. I did a lot of that in the period of 2004 to 2010 when the record business struggled. I just kind of got busy doing other things. Yeah, the radio show is something that I do once a week. I don't have a ton of time to devote to it. And so people have suggested, like, you should expand, you should syndicate, and you should do this. And I said, no, I have 2 hours a week to do it. And that's how long the radio show is. So I just enjoy it. It's eclectic. It's off the cuff, no real preparation. And I just play music I love. And it's been great because people respond and say, hey, I heard something. I went down the wormhole discovering this band, and I'm really crazy about them now. So that's what I want to hear. That's a great story to me.
That's great. Okay, Wade, let's do a little math to let our friends all across the World Wide Web get to know you through the equation of our happy formula.
Okay.
It's simple, but it's very powerful. It's capacity plus purpose equals happy.
Right.
Let's start with capacity. What are your practices for building your personal capacity, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? In other words, what do you do, Wade, on a regular basis to create all the capacity you need to take good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over to give to others?
I think, my main thing is it wouldn't be called meditation, but I call it a form of meditation. And it's really just taking time to kind of get away and think about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and what I would like to change. And also, it's super important to me to try to have a vision of what I'm trying to accomplish and move toward that vision. And I take account of where I am lots of times. And so having a vision, moving toward that vision, and then spending time, not in meditation per se, but just kind of reflection of where I am, what I'm doing, and where I want to go. It doesn't hurt that I'm fanatical about music. I'm fanatical about stereo equipment. I'm fanatical about speakers. I'm fanatical about everything electronics and making sound. So I just drive myself hard because I'm crazy about those things, and I always have been. So
when you're doing that, you just have abundant energy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you can find something that you really love, and I went through a period between, I mentioned 2004 to 2010, the record business was really tough, but I found that I had a set of skills that could work in a variety of ways, like a DJ. And I would go to someone's house and show them how to use their MediaCom remote for $30, so I was able to just diversify, and I've learned to call it living by my wits. This is the things that I know. These are the things that I love. And so I can do them. It doesn't mean that I know everything. I'm still learning every day. And I'm still having to learn to be better at troubleshooting, to be better at, just a lot of things. Networking is such a big deal these days. So all of those things mean something, but having some basic skills really helped me to make a living in my record store, to survive through those tough times.
I love it. And when you were telling me about reflection and about thinking about, what you're going to do and having a vision, you reminded me of the great Peter Drucker. And he has a quote that says, efficiency is doing the thing well, is doing the thing right. Efficiency is doing the thing right. Effectiveness is doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And if you do only the right things in your life, that also creates energy, and it eliminates wasted energy.
Yeah. I was going to say, I went, and this is probably more in another area of your formula, but I went through a tough period in my life, mostly self-induced, and I learned to listen to myself and to also look at things around me, and that there were clues. And if I was willing to pay attention, then I could find a path that made sense to me. And I mentioned having a vision. The vision is nothing extraordinary. It's just, I want to go in this direction. And I found that just having a basic idea and outline of the direction I wanted to go in really helped me, but also learning to listen to myself and to the world, what is there, what the opportunities are there, and things like that.
Yeah, very good. Well, before we move on to purpose, let's discuss my favorite capacity building concept called a Kaizen state of mind. It's based on a Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. A Kaizen state of mind is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than I did today. It's a positive mindset. It's optimistic. It creates a gentle and yet powerful, continuous uplifting of my life, day after day after day. So Wade, how does a Kaizen state of mind help you increase your personal capacity to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Just that exact idea of learning to listen. The other thing, and my kids hate when I say this, but I've said it often, is knowing what you don't know. So a lot of times I found that before I would draw a conclusion just based on very little information, and it was incorrect. So a lot of times I learned to know what I didn't know and say, well, I don't have enough information to make that judgment call, or I don't understand someone's point of view enough, or I don't, have the perspective of what my customers are thinking when I'm offering this, or if I set this in place. And we don't have a lot of rules in our store, but we have a few basic rules that, we ask our customers to follow. But a few years ago, I just in paying attention and knowing what I didn't know, I realized that we have a new customer who's never bought records before, is brand new to going to a record store. And so our job was as much in helping them find things, was also in educating them and using our passion to educate our customers. So, just a simple thing of knowing what I didn't know and looking at the world and myself and determining, hey, am I on the right path, or have I gotten off? And I'll tell you, I take account of myself pretty often, and it keeps me in line, thankfully, because without that, I can get way offline and I can overwork. I can do a lot of things in excess. So,
yeah, that's good. All right, let's dive into that second element of the happy formula. And I've observed that major life transformations or discovery of purpose often comes from devastation, addictions, disease, death, disaster. Some big crisis strips a life to its core, and transformation comes out of it. However, in my second book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose using inspiration. So, Wade, how about you? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
Absolutely. I grew up in an amazing area, Fairhope, Alabama. You've visited, and had a pretty an exceptional life already, but it was a pretty easy life, and I was kind of coasting along. I got married, and about 15 years ago, went through a divorce. I had created a lot of hell. We had created a lot of hell together, and it was pretty devastating to me. I went through a period of just kind of examining my life and trying to, and really decided that I wanted to change a lot of things.
Were you already in the record store business?
Yes, I was in the record store business, and I was doing okay, but it was right about the time that the record store was struggling. So
Okay.
that added a lot of excess pressure to, an already volatile situation. I was going through custody for my son. It was quite a bit of stuff, and I decided that if I really believed that I could be a good father to my son, then I needed to change quite a few things about my life. And I set about to change those things, and I got serious about it. And also, I kind of decided that I like making changes in my life. It made me feel good. And I saw it as a crack in the system that I could change as many things as I wanted. I could start over. And consequently, I decided I wanted to try all the things that I had ever dreamed of that I had never done, which was writing for music reviews for magazines, writing things about musicians that writing essays about musicians. I wanted to get into DJing a lot more. I wanted to try all kinds of different things. And most of them I tried. Several of them I kept doing. Some of them I was like, I don't really, have the time, or maybe I'm not as disciplined about it as I want to be, or whatever. But it was a great time to just make changes in my life. And the fact of being able to do that it gave me a lot of freedom. And moving forward, I said, my life can change, and I can change it at any moment. So it's been a drastic change in my life. And that was because of, I saw an opportunity. Hey, I changed one thing. I put down alcohol. I quit drinking. I put down aspartame. I quit drinking Diet Cokes. I put down tobacco. I put it all down. And every time I did, I was like, this is hard, but I feel great, and I don't have those problems in my life that are associated with that. And my life feels like, hey, I can move in a better direction. So it was an astounding time for me. And I still believe in those things, that it basically told me to look inward. It wasn't someone else's fault. It wasn't the world's fault. It wasn't my situation's fault. It was my fault.
What was the catalyst that caused that change in your view?
The catalyst was the first thing was the reason that I decided I need to change my life drastically is that I wanted to offer a life to my son and be a good dad. And I think because I had a great mother and father, and we had a great family growing up, but I wanted to offer that, and I wasn't doing it. And it led me to believe that, hey, this is worth it. And what happened when I made one change and then I made another change is I saw that things were working with me. It wasn't just me doing it. I wasn't just in control of these things, that the world was working with me. God was working with me, helping me out. I prayed for years and years and years for wisdom and guidance. And I felt like God handed that to me. It wasn't me. I didn't make all these great choices. They came to me. One of the first things that happened that I noticed, and I certainly didn't make this happen, is that someone came to me and asked me to run sound in their church. And so I started going to church. And suddenly I had a new set of friends, and these friends didn't drink, and I was trying to quit drinking. So it made it a lot easier than to, be with my old friends. I still have those friends, but it was, all of a sudden I had a new set of friends. It's a lot easier to quit drinking when you're around people that don't drink than it is to be with your old friends. So these things happened over and over and over. It brought me to the realization that, like, you ask God for wisdom and guidance, He'll give it to you, but you have to learn to see it.
Yeah, good stuff, Wade. Okay, let's take a commercial break so I can tell everyone about three things. Speaking of drinking, a super cool company called Dry Farm Wines. They deliver chemical-free, sugar-free, health-certified wines right to your door, and how every purchase made for the entire month will support a great big donation to our wonderful host, WITV7. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Dry Farm Wines. I first met the man known as the healthiest wino on the planet back in 2016. He said his wines don't cause headaches or hangovers, and that he started his company because most wine consumed in the US is highly processed and loaded with unnatural nasties. Like most processed food, it's toxic. That very night, I made a big health decision. Toxic wines out, natural wines in. It's been 4 years since I made the switch, and I feel great. Go to happyliving.com and select Partners in Happy to get your first bottle of natural wine for a penny. And I'll donate 8% of every order placed during the entire month of November to WITV7. Share the gift of natural wine and pour some love this holiday season. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm Matt Gersper, and my special guest star today is Dr. Music himself, Wade Wellborn. Hey, Wade, I love this article called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. I found it on lifescience.com, and it says the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on this planet. It says there's compelling scientific data to support the notion that giving one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway to discovering purpose, transcending difficulties, and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I updated the formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. What do you think, Wade? From your experience, have you found that giving your time and talents and treasures has been a pathway for discovering your purpose and transcending difficulties you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Absolutely. It's interesting because you have to think and contemplate the ways that your contribution matters. And I was doing that. I will have to mention that I've been married about 10 years to a woman who's really, really intelligent and gives me great perspective. There's a lot of challenges owning retail stores these days about, should we do this or should we do this? And, wearing masks on down. And she's given me great perspective on lots of things. And I like to debate different things with her. But my point is that I asked her a while back, I said, what do you think, we're giving? And she's like, golly, if you go to your store, you bring joy, you share your passion for music, you believe in what you're doing, and that's infectious. People enjoy that. And she said, and the other thing is that you make a lot of people very happy because you're able to simplify the way that they listen to music or help them understand, you sell them a great speaker that's stylish, it sounds great, but it's simple to use, and you should make sure that they understand what they're doing. She's like, you educate a lot of people with your turntables. You show them how to use a turntable, how to properly care for a turntable, how to care for records. So this is really what I do is give that and just bring joy. I don't know that I'll ever receive a reward. It's an internal idea that it's there. I know it. I love it. And so the opportunity to share my passion with my customers is just the most amazing thing to me. I'm also very, very, very fortunate because I basically owned a record store long enough to where vinyl came back, because I never, ever thought it would. I thought it was dead. CDs were dead. It was all MP3s and iPods and Napster, from there on. Fortunately, I was building a speaker that worked with that, because I knew that if I stood behind my counter and complained about streaming and downloading, that I was going to, be out of business. And so I just kind of diversified a little bit. I got real lucky in that area. And then I got super lucky when people started buying vinyl again.
Well, I'll tell you, I walked into your record store, and first of all, I couldn't believe there was a record store in town. Secondly, there was young kids in there, and the place was busy and people milling around. I thought I was back in the 70s. It's just amazing. Yeah. And so you mentioned giving and the power of giving. It's giving takes all different kind of forms, and just giving an environment that creates joy,
right,
brings joy to to your customers, but also it comes back to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what the science says. And I agree with it 100%.
Yeah. And we look, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We look at it as providing a safe haven for people. We're, the last thing that I've been working with my employees a lot, and I'm like, sometimes when people come to the record store, they're intimidated because they don't know a lot, or they're just worried that we're not going to be nice. And I'm like, we welcome everyone, and we try to put them at ease, and we try to assist them, and this idea of welcoming people and putting them at ease is important to us. And that really is part of our idea of, we're here to share our passion, not to tell people what they don't know or to act like we're so smart and we know all this stuff. So that really does make me happy, because people say, oh, I came to your record store last year and we loved it and I wanted to come back. And the truth is, we're a small town record store, but we have some big town, power at most of the time. And so, yeah, we know our stuff. We're happy to share that with our customers, but just creating joy.
Well, that's it. That's the fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value for others. It's other looking.
Yeah.
And I know from my own experience, the magic of life comes not from getting more, and getting more is fun, but it's from giving more.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than that. It's not just the giving that's magical, Wade. What I've been exploring and experiencing too is when you're giving from living in your purpose, that's where the real magic lies. So tell us, Wade, how does it make you feel when you're giving to others through the musical work you were put on this planet to do, and a customer says, I love this place, great selection and awesome people. Yeah. Or another says, your sonic suitcases are incredible, unique, and absolutely Alabama. And another one says, what a killer shop in a cool little town. I find awesome stuff each time I visit. Another one says, it's one of our favorite shops anywhere. Anytime we're in Fairhope, we make it a point to stop in and always find some great music. And finally, this guy says, and I think he might be your mother, this guy says, Wade is awesome, one of a kind. Yeah. So Wade, how does all that make you feel?
It's the culmination of my goal from when I started. I grew up in this town for the most part, and there was nowhere to buy any music that was off the beaten path. So in 1996, I was living in Pensacola, and I said, I'm going to move back to my hometown, and I'm going to sell music that's off the beaten path, and I'm going to be friendly to people, and I'm going to, share my passion for music with them. And so that tells me that I'm doing that and that people understand it. It's funny because I'm so passionate about it that I wear that store on my sleeve. And if someone comes in and they don't really understand what we're doing, or they only think we're about nostalgia or whatever, I'm like, no, it bothers me, because I'm like, somehow we didn't get our message across that, like, we're here to love music and we want you to love music. And we want to know, it's funny because so many people want to come in and say, I heard vinyl's coming back, but they're not really into it. It's just something they heard about. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't really care about that. I care about, what album spoke to you in your life, what album made a difference. Those are the things that we care about. We don't care about what your cousin owned and all that stuff. We just care about what means something to you, because it means something to us. So that's the idea. When people say things like that, it makes me very happy. It makes me feel like not only that I've accomplished a goal, but it makes me want to work harder.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's it. That's the magic. It's right. Purpose and giving make this great, big, happy circle. Giving your time and talents and treasures is that powerful pathway to discovering purpose. And giving from living in your purpose brings profound joy to your life. So giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So Wade, to more properly reflect the exponential power of the happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a little bit more. Capacity times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right to you?
I'm close. I can't, I will say that I've got all the bruises to show all the lessons that I've learned, because I darn sure learned them the hard way. But yeah, I'm close. I'm absolutely close.
The bruises, this is what I want people to understand. When you're deeply in your passion like you are, you wear the bruises like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
It's like an athlete. It's like I just went out and I had this, me and my team, we had this incredible practice and we're completely exhausted and banged up and bruised. And we sit around and we're just full of joy from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if a regular civilian was to go through that experience, it'd be like, you just put me through torture.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I gave everything I had and I'm satisfied. You know, that's all I had. And so, I agree.
Very good. Good stuff. Okay. Let's wrap things up with the lightning round. I like to read a few of my very favorite quotes and then have you respond, telling us what it means to you so we can kind of peer into your head there. Give us the first thing that comes to mind, Wade, because it is called a lightning round.
Okay.
This one's from Grandpa George in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There's plenty of money out there. They print more of it every day.
I would have to respond with a quote that says, sometimes that money is, it's very useful, but sometimes it just gets in the way. It stacks up around here and people want it from me and they bug you about it. And I'm not really interested in that. I want to sell records.
There you go. Now you just answer to respond to a quote with a quote. And I think there's a rule you're not supposed to respond to a question with a question.
Okay.
But that's okay, Wade. You're in charge of the rules around here today. This is your episode.
I like it.
From Thoreau, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined.
I think that the most important thing to me is that once I started moving in the direction that I wanted and started trying to become the person that I wanted to be, I found that the other stuff that got me off track didn't matter anymore. You know, it's kind of like if someone says, don't think of the color blue, that's all you can think of. But if you say, I want to go that direction, and you start going that direction, you kind of forget about blue. So that's what I feel.
That's awesome. From Paul Hawken, go deep in a specialty, get a customer, make them happy.
Yeah, I think that has to do with your goal. Your starting point is that if we have happy customers, the rest is going to take care of itself. You know, my idea of running that store from day one was not, I'm going to be the biggest and I'm going to be the best. It's, I'm going to go down there and stand behind that counter and do what I do and share my love of music. And I think we're going to be okay. And 25 years later, we're okay. So.
Awesome. From Dr. Wayne Dyer, don't die with the music still in you.
I think that's just a seize the day. And I've done that. My wife's laughing at me because, like I said, I just took over and added another retail store here in town. And she says, as if you weren't busy enough. And I said, but it's my dream. I'm going to try it. You know, we'll see. We're going to be okay. So I'm excited about it. It's a lot more work. We've been building on this store for a while, but hopefully we'll open in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I don't think that I could have gone any other direction. When the opportunity came up, I was doing it.
Well, you just walked into the next one. That's from Goff. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Yeah, I think that goes to, and this is a kind of a concept that I live by. It came from loving punk rock, believe it or not. And it's called DIY. It's do it yourself. And it means like you want to have a magazine and you're holding back because you're not as good as Rolling Stone. And DIY says, start drawing the magazine and handwriting it and copy it at your dad's copy machine at his office and selling it for 50 cents and to your friends and in a record store. DIY means give it a try. And I've done it. I mean, I'm not a great graphic artist, but I've gotten to where I'm adequate with certain things. I'm not a great advertising person, but I keep trying. So DIY means don't, hold out because you're not perfect. Get started doing it. You'll find you'll get better.
And you mentioned earlier in the first segment of the show that once you started down this path towards your dream, that the universe or God or circumstances kind of pulled you along. Yeah. And I think that's what Goff is talking about here with boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. It just help comes to you when you're on that path, right? Yeah,
I think if you put it out there that this is where you're trying to get, that things will help you along the way. And you'll see that you made decisions that you didn't have enough information. You made correct decisions that you didn't have enough information to decide, but certainly you're on the right path.
Very good. Okay, now folks, it's your turn to play along with us. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Dr. Music, Wade Wellborn, please share some love with our incredible broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Wade, I love how you emerged stronger from the disruptive innovation caused by Napster and the prolific embracing of digital music by mashing up your love of music and your knowledge of sound and speaker systems. And I admire your invention of the sonic suitcase and the fact that in 2022, you still own and operate a real live and thriving retail record store, and your compelling enthusiasm that's keeping vinyl and CDs and turntables alive for another generation. I think you're amazing, and I'm super happy that you shared your entrepreneurial spirit on our show today. Would you please take a minute and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
I think that entrepreneurial spirit means that you better be a jack of all trades and willing to do a lot of work. And if you are, then you will reap the rewards. I'm not sure always financially, but you will reap the rewards of knowing that you gave it your all and you really, you made something real. And I believe that a lot of people in our area and a lot of people in our region believe that we have something real and really enjoy it. And that makes me happy, and it's very much worth it.
Very good. Thank you, Wade.
Thank you.
I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guests like Wade and reaching folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary dreams. A special thank you to our sponsors for the month of March, Dry Farm Wines and Happy Living. Remember, I'll donate 8% of every purchase you make for the entire month. So tell all your friends too. Go to happyliving.com, select partners, and shop Dry Farm Wines. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Wade Wellborn. Find him, friend him. Whenever you're in Fairhope, you've got to visit his store. But for now, go to his website and find out why he says a record store is not a vending machine. A musical journey requires looking through the racks. Otherwise, you miss out on the possibility of finding something new and exciting. So go to drmusic123.com to browse the racks, check out the new releases, shop this for super cool t-shirts and hats, listen to his radio show, and check out his amazing sonic suitcases. That's all one word, DR Music, and the number is 123, drmusic123.com. From me to you, dear friends, I love you, and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy. And to help you, just go to happyliving.com right now and take our happy quiz. Because when you measure your happy, you'll focus attention on it. And focusing attention on it inspires change and learning and improvement to flow right into your life. And speaking of life improvement, I hope Wade has got you motivated and feeling confident and bold and excited to improve your life, ready to bring to life your unique and distinct reason for being on this planet. Because that's how you'll make your mark of significance on the world. And the world is waiting to hear from you. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.